It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Thursday. All right, guys, you know what Thursday means. It means that we're back to recap not only the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but also Dubai. You know what's so crazy about this? And Jason just walked into my studio to say this. I was thinking in my head because Dubai's been a little bit slow on the pickup, which we're still getting to know these women. But I was thinking, let's just mash this together in one live. Then, of course, watching the episodes last night, I was like, damn it, man. There's enough in both of these episodes that we could have done two, but one is fine. One is fine. So before we jump in and before we welcome Jason, you guys know how this works. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, get subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss stuff in the future. And let's welcome Jason. Good morning.
Good morning. I was going to say happy Monday, but it is definitely Thursday.
Happy Thursday and happy birthday, Mike.
Happy
30.
birthday, Mike. Yeah, dirty 30. It's time to live.
And he's ready to embrace the hell out of it.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm ready for 40. The 30s were so mental for me.
Oh gosh.
You know, 20s are great, but then 30s, it's like, oh, figure your shit out, and then I'm ready to live.
Okay. All right, guys, we have 80 in the room again. Smash that like button, show some love. And where do we start, Jason? Do you want to kick it off with Beverly Hills or Dubai?
This is a really hard one because like you said before we came on, I did come into your studio and I was like, we could have done two separate lives because the episodes were so good last night. In my opinion, I thought they were great, but I think we should kick it off with Beverly Hills because I have some stuff to talk about with Dubai.
Okay, so Beverly Hills, we kick off with where we left off, and it's Sutton's tea party. Guys, Sutton's tea party was one hell of a tea party because Lisa Rinna was there, and we know shit's going to go down. Lisa Rinna decided to call Sutton out at the tea party. This obviously wasn't what she was wearing at her tea party, but you guys get the point. Lisa called her out because she said, did you call? Well, actually, she didn't even ask. She said, you called Diana a motherfucker. And Sutton's like, I thought, from my impression, that we hugged and we made up. And Lisa Rinna was like, okay, girl, well, let me just reality check the hell out of you. That is not how Diana feels about it.
Adam, what was your impression from that discussion that Sutton was referring to?
I mean, I thought
at Garcelle's birthday,
everybody was obviously drinking. Diana looked so uncomfortable when Sutton went in for a hug. She started laughing, which is something that it's a sign sometimes that people are uncomfortable. When I'm uncomfortable, I laugh and I make faces that I can't control. You know this. So I think for Sutton to think that she got to a better place with Diana, it was a little naive, but there was alcohol involved again. So I don't
know. It's very obvious that Sutton is a very sensitive person. So I think in her mind, she concluded it for herself as good. So she could move on with her life and not have the thing that she's thinking about every day. But for sure, it didn't feel, even Kyle rolled her eyes, but it just didn't feel like they left the conversation the right way. So I'm going to have to side with not Sutton on this.
Yeah, not Sutton. And it is what it is. But I do want to get to the main kind of conversation that we were supposed to jump into. And we've been talking about this for 2 weeks now. It was really, everybody was waiting at the Sutton tea party for Garcelle to address Erika, which she did. Okay. She addressed Erika and she told Kyle to take a seat and stop jumping ships. Kyle. Okay. Now, when she addressed her, I think that Garcelle, from what we heard, was pleasantly surprised. She said, don't ever talk to a kid, more importantly, my kid, the way that you did. And Erika just she didn't cower down. She just said, listen, I talked to your kids like they were adults. I wasn't trying to be malicious about it. I wasn't, did I come off aggressive? Yes. I apologize. I had too many margaritas. I'm mixing my margaritas with
sneaky margaritas.
Sneaky margaritas. It is what it is, and I apologize. And I do want to say, I really respect and commend you as a mother for your kids and how well behaved that they were at the party. It's not like they were sitting there pouting or on their phones. They were really working the room and being social. So for Garcelle, she said, as a single mom, navigating everything and being a parent while working, everything that she has going on, she said, when another woman comes to you who was also a single mom and they give you a compliment like that, it means a lot. So she said, even though I didn't really want to go there and accept Erika's apology, I think Garcelle thought she was going to have an Erika who was going to be like, piss off, I don't owe you anything. But that's not what she got, and Garcelle was very pleasantly surprised by it. So I am happy about that, because for Erika, you already have enough on your plate, girl. I think that Garcelle, apologizing to Garcelle, it was not only one, the right thing to do, but two, you don't want that smoke.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it seems like Garcelle, I mean, I don't want to sit here and be like the Garcelle fan club every week, but I feel like I just am, because the way Garcelle presents herself, the way she holds herself, the way she questions people's bullshit, I think people have a certain respect for Garcelle, especially within this group of women. And I feel like Erika does not want to cross that line of respect.
Right.
And I feel like it was just a well done, it was a nice little conclusion. So I enjoyed that. But I've been saying this for a long time. And of course, like, I know you feel this way, and I'm sure other people feel this way. Kyle has always been a flip-flopper, and she inserts herself where needed, or where she thinks, I'm sorry, she's needed. And it just drives me nuts. So to see Garcelle call that out, I mean, jumping ship might have been it might have been like the wrong term, but she jumps from ship to ship, thinking that, oh my gosh, I have to go save that ship from sinking. Let me jump to that one.
Well,
but sometimes it's like, Kyle, come on, like, mind your own business. Stop inserting or inputting yourself. However, that's Kyle's job. And I've said it before, I still can't imagine Beverly Hills without Kyle.
You know, but
like her or not.
I think, listen, I agree with you too. And we said this when watching it. I don't think Garcelle's term jumping ship is correct. I think it's really inserting herself when the conversation has nothing to do with her. Like, for example, when Diana and Sutton were talking, Kyle didn't need to be in that. And when she's addressing, you know, Erika, and she's getting all the faces from Kyle, that was her point of, stop interjecting yourself into a conversation that has nothing to do with you. Whereas Kyle is like programmed after 12 seasons to be like, no, girl, this is, you know, this is the
I'm
Housewives.
surprised Kyle hasn't called in right now to this live.
No.
So, you know,
I don't think Kyle
us.
I don't think Kyle is a fan over here, but I never really talk bad about Kyle. I just don't understand. I mean, I do understand. I think that she has housewives brain. I think that when you're in this for so long, you're in this game, you're programmed to interject, get in there and earn your paycheck. That way the next year you can ask for your bonuses and ask for a pay increase. And I think that that's exactly what's on her mind. So I'll just...
And that Netflix series that's kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, but she's not even allowed to. I mean, they already filmed Buying Beverly Hills, and she's not allowed to film it because of contracts and stuff. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you know, I do think that Kyle is a little bit of a flip-flopper with everyone except for Dorit. I think that Dorit's kind of her new Teddy. And I do actually like that Kyle is nice to Dorit, only for the simple fact right now, Dorit's going through a lot. We're watching her struggle on the show, and she doesn't really deserve a gang up on. Okay, so
for sure,
we'll give her that. Now, moving forward, we have another sort of situation that is not ending anytime soon, and it would be this one. Diana and Sutton. This is like the never-ending, I just don't even know what to call it. By the way, guys, 315 in the room. Go ahead, smash that like button. Show some love. But for Diana, okay, and Sutton, I think that Diana is being swayed a little bit by Lisa Rinna and Erika.
Of course.
Just like Crystal was a little bit swayed when they went to Mexico, right? I feel like what they're trying to do is program into Diana, you know, anything that they can. They're not telling her not to like Sutton. They're just kind of like, you need to stand up for yourself. You need to stay true. If that's how you feel, you should share how you feel. And it's like further fueling this fire. Sutton has been pretty problematic this season, though. I will say that. Like, from the, I'm sorry I didn't have a gun put to my head, and talking some of the ish that she talks, and then she kind of smiles and laughs in her confessionals. She does have some moments where you even said, these are kind of cringy. This is a moment where I don't necessarily love Sutton.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna put my personal feelings of how I feel about Diana aside for a second, and I'm gonna put myself in her position, right? Okay. She came onto the show. She kind of probably got some, you know, preconceived notions from Erika and Lisa Rinna. So going into it, she was already skeptical about Sutton, but you know, Diana's a very social, smart woman. We've seen that, you know, when she's not always smart, especially with her words, more clumsy than Sutton at times. But she's in these situations where Sutton is kind of being ridiculous over and over again. So if I'm watching this girl kind of just self-sabotage herself every time. Like, Sutton likes to say something and then apologize for it. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. Well, I mean, you got to stop doing that. Right. Like, it's like this circle of infinite mess, you know? So coming from Diana, like, if I didn't know Sutton, I might have not wanted to like her either.
You know, I do want to say too, I feel like Diana is kind of the Heather Dubrow a little bit of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And when I say that, it's because we're watching Lisa Rinna, Kyle Richards, and Erika Girardi all kiss up to Diana because she has this over the top lifestyle. She runs in the social circles with, and we saw it with Elton John and Lady Gaga and Kim Kardashian. And she, of course, they're going to show all the photos on the show to show how opulent and amazing her life is, at least based off of photos. So we've seen all of the photos. And I think Erika, Lisa, and Kyle look at her like, oh, this is a friend who has private jets. She goes on lavish, you know, crazy luxurious vacations. And
it's
I
that LA relationship. You know, I already feel like, you know, Erika or Lisa Rinna, they're already like, okay, well, you know, what can you do for me? Hanging out with Diana could help me in some way. Like, you know how that LA mentality of what can you do for me?
Oh, you know, a ton of
what
rich
can we
men,
offer
you
each other?
run in the social circles. Yeah,
exactly.
Like Diana can hook me up. I think, I mean, I totally see this. I think that this is why you and I operated LA so differently for people who are watching. 400 in the room. Hi, guys. Jason was always really good, and he still is at working a room. And I don't have a poker face to save my life. So when people come up to me and they're like, I have this, this, and this, and, you know, well, I guess we would have friends who would kind of kiss up because they're like, oh, I want to be a part of that. I was just like, your personality sucks and you're mean to, you know, the wait staff or the service people around you. Like, I don't want to be around you. I don't care what you have. And you were so much better at like kind of putting those feelings aside and being able to be like, you know what, I'll play nice with you while we're here. And then when we go home, you don't need to know my feelings about you.
Yeah. Exactly.
I wasn't good at that. Maybe that's why it's better that we're not in LA anymore.
But I mean, this is the feeling that I'm getting from like, especially Erika right now. You know, like she needs some clothes, she needs a new man, and maybe Diana can help her get or attain these things. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's exactly what Erika's thinking. And mind you, let's go back for a second because we saw a little bit more of Diana in this episode, and she was showing us her relationship with her son, and we got to see more of Asher, and we got to see her son's girlfriend, which I didn't realize is the daughter of two famous people. I forgot. It came up on my Instagram a minute ago. So she also has a very famous family.
Oh, now I want to know who.
Yeah. I want to go back and look. If you guys are in the live chat and you know who Diana's son's girlfriend is the daughter of, will you guys go ahead and comment below? But my whole point is we get to see some of the family dynamic. And I was watching or reading Twitter where people were like, this scene was boring, we're over it. But we get a lot of boring scenes with some of the housewives and their family. So it's just a part of showing them as a whole, showing them as a, you know, a family. I mean,
honestly,
woman. And
this episode of Beverly Hills, I really enjoyed seeing all of the families and the moments with the family together.
Damon Dash and
Rachel Roy.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you. Yes.
I really did enjoy seeing these moments, even with Diana and having her whole family together, especially with Kyle and Hanukkah and Dorit, and watching Jagger sit there and explain the meaning of Hanukkah. I was like, this is fun. This is a nice side that we need to see. You know, even Garcelle with her sons and taking their friend out to buy some shoes and stuff like this. It was a nice balance. That's why I really enjoyed this episode.
You know, and because I know we're going to talk about Dubai a little bit, I do want to add in here, I think that all of the ladies that we're watching on Beverly Hills, I think that they're all great mothers. You know, watching Kyle with her kids, she'll do anything for her kids. Diana has such a great relationship with her kids. Dorit, watching, like you said, Jagger know and have that information and just like how happy they were and praising him and how much love is in the room. It's one of the things that I love watching about them. I'm going to get back into this for a second, though, when it came to Erika coming over to Diana's house. Now, Erika showed up because Diana is getting rid of 1/3 of her closet because after having a baby, she said that she can't fit into some of these same clothes. So she wants to donate them. This is the perfect opportunity for Erika to get some of that, you know, those lavish clothes back and those designer brands. And again, this whole relationship, it just seems like so opportunistic on Erika. But then I don't also want to sit there and slam Erika because you can have rich friends and not want anything from them.
The thing about Diana too is she is used to that. She is also an opportunistic person, wouldn't you say? I mean, that's how she got married to her husband, her first husband, right? So right. I feel like that Diana enjoys that whole Hollywood thing. I mean, she's so intertwined with it. So Erika enjoys, I mean, it comes off across that she really enjoys being wanting something from Diana, and Diana's going to be willing to give it to her. You know what I mean?
Right.
If that makes sense at all.
No, it does. Nosa Colin said, Sutton gets herself into these messes. She makes snarky, inappropriate comments and then plays victim. I'm not a fan of Diana at all either. Now, I was reading also last night where people were like, Diana has no reason not to like Sutton. There have been moments, the one where she was kind of getting in her face, pointing in her face and saying, excuse me, let me finish. You would never talk to me like that, or else I would just completely disassociate myself from you. And Jason, I think that you can confirm that. And then secondly, when she was talking about the whole bed rest thing and Sutton was like, oh, weren't you supposed to be on bed rest?
But see, this is what Sutton does. And she says something like that. And then she shares about having 2 miscarriages. It's very, very up and down, Sutton.
Right.
So that's where I understand. I'm like, you kind of come off a little cray, you know, like if I was new to this group, I would probably steer clear of you.
I mean, listen, I think that I want to go back to what Ryan Bailey said when we had him on to do a Beverly Hills recap. He said, I don't have to really necessarily like you, but I can like and enjoy watching you. And I like and enjoy watching Sutton because she really stands her ground. And then she sits there and you watch her eyes kind of roll into the back of her head and she thinks about something for a minute when you call her out. And then she's like, excuse me, let me finish. And then she comes back with more snarkiness and you're like, oh God, we're not getting, we're not making any strides in this conversation. I feel like it's never any progress with Sutton.
No, and also the convincing, and I don't mean to go off about Sutton here. I mean, because listen, I don't like Diana, but Diana she knows who she is. And it feels like a lot of the time Sutton doesn't know who she is and she has to convince herself and then convince other people, no, I'm this way. You know, even though I just said, oh, bed rest. And then now you're like, I was just trying to connect with you. And it's like, girl, you're losing me and you're making my head spin. I'm so happy to leave Sutton's party. I was so happy for the end of that scene with Diana because Diana wasn't giving her the time of day. It was just like, you both are.
I mean, it was just, it was a big joke of a conversation. But I do also want to hit on another dynamic before we move over into Dubai. And guys, we will drop the link here later on and take some callers. But there was another situation that needed to be addressed. Before I hit that, speaking of great mothers, Garcelle, Sheree Zampino is so fun to watch. I love having her on our screens, and I hate that she hates filming Housewives.
You can tell she's bored. She doesn't care.
Sutton, she's so bored. She's like, my ex-husband is Will Smith. Like, I have a great life. I like rub elbows with tons of celebrities. And girl, I don't know who you are. You're on the board of what ballet program? I don't know what. I'm bored. I love her. Sheree seems like a very centered person, but also very relaxed. Her demeanor is amazing. I love how she can be Garcelle's friend, but still kind of, you know, fool around like with Erika about, you know, the Garcelle's son and kind of just make it. She just has a good intuition to, I don't know, work a room. Yeah, she does. She's great at it. But again, she's been in the social circles long enough. But her and Garcelle, after we see Garcelle go to that extremely expensive ass sneaker store, which blew my mind because I could never, I don't think I'll spend more than like, you know me, like maybe $60 on a pair of boots or something. Like,
why are Yeezys so ugly?
Do you think so?
I think so. They look like moon boots. I mean, I love a good like futuristic look, but for me, I'm like, how much? And that's not even the top line one, you know?
No, there's
some of them thousands of dollars.
When she's looking at the shoe, she takes her son's and her son's friend, which I don't know if people caught this, but she bought her son's friend a pair of shoes too from this expensive store. And she's like, guys, the limit is 500. And then the bill comes out to like 2,200. I'm like, oh, for shoes, this is crazy.
The math is off.
It was Christmas time, okay? It was Christmas time, so we're celebrating the holidays. Now, pan back over. Garcelle and Sheree Zampino end up meeting up with Kyle Richards, and you can see Kyle looks so incredibly uncomfortable. Guys, 600 in the room, smash that like button. But she looks so incredibly uncomfortable because when she sits down, she sees both of them sitting on the other side, and she's like, Garcelle, this is Garcelle's friend. Garcelle doesn't like me. She thinks I'm jumping ship. When you
said that, though, Adam, when you said, look, Kyle is so uncomfortable, I'm like, she is? No, she's not. And then I like checked it again. I'm like, oh yeah, she's uncomfortable. She's like, what's about to happen? Where is this lunch going? Like,
no, she was so uncomfortable. And Garcelle's face too. She was just like, I don't have time for this. Like, I'm trying to get some shit done and whatever the case is. Like, she's like, let's just get this conversation done. You can tell she didn't really want to be there for filming. And Garcelle, and this is a question I want to ask for the live chat. Kyle does not think that Erika has a problem at this point. Erika has been very honest and open from what we're seeing. Some people don't believe that she's taking these pills. Some people do. We don't actually know. We're not sitting there with Erika watching her, take her pills and drink her margaritas. We're watching her drink her margaritas and her champagne. But you get what I'm saying. So I don't want to sit here and allude to like Erika having a problem because I don't know Erika like that. But Garcelle thinks, because from her past and her being around her son Oliver, who had an addiction problem, she says, I've seen this before and I want to help Erika get ahead of this. She needs to get ahead of this. She needs to figure out her medication, liquor, cocktail, and how not to go overboard. And she's like, you don't think this is leading into alcoholism? And Kyle's opinion is, I've been around someone with alcoholism. Of course, give us the Shady Bravo edit where it's, you are such a fucking alcoholic. And she's like, I think that that's a dangerous, term to throw around. And Garcelle's like, is it though? Because I mean,
I have to be Team Sheree in this conversation. I do understand where they're both coming from, right?
Right.
I mean, Garcelle was a mother who, her son had a lot of issues with stuff like that. So I understand her concern, but it's so funny to me because you have Erika who's convincing herself, yeah, I'm taking this new medicine and this other medicine, and she is drinking a lot of liquid and taking new medicine. Like, I understand Garcelle's concern. It's just like, that's a lot. But to Kyle, it's like, God, it's so nice to see Erika like this. She's so relaxed and just free. And then you pan over to her being like blacked out on a couch in a boat in Mexico, or you pan over to her like, being messy or asking for 15 more drinks. It's like, I don't know. I see the fall.
Oh, okay. All right. TT Doll, all about Bravo Reality TV at Facebook is the group for you, Adam and Jason. I'll have to look into that.
All about the Bravo. Nice.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for the super chat. Garcelle seems to be the only one truly concerned about Erika. This is the thing.
I agree with that.
See, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think any of them are concerned about any of them. I think everybody is kind of out for themselves, but I feel like they all throw each other under the bus. So this is an easy, like, Erika is handing it on a silver platter for these women to completely rip her apart, and none of them are doing it. And Garcelle's like, I don't understand. Are you guys sitting back and watching the same shit I'm watching? And Garcelle didn't really speak up on it until her son was involved, and that was sort of the gateway for Garcelle to be like, I have an opinion. Now you're going to listen to it because you messed with the wrong person's kid. And I agree with that. I do believe since Erika opened that door, Garcelle does get to have an opinion, because now Garcelle's like, you were falling off the boat. You were drunk on the boat. You're, drunk at my party. You're screaming at my kids.
Yelling at my kids.
She's like, you're trying to have a threesome with my other kid. What's next? And Kyle's like, I think that this is dangerous. But I want to ask you guys in the live chat, do you think whose side are you more on this? Like, do you think that Garcelle has a point that Erika needs to get it together, right? Because this could be dangerous and this could lead to bigger problems? Or are you more on Kyle's side of, Erika hasn't had a slip up in 7 years. These are 2 instances. She's going through a lot right now. So let's give her a pass. I'm so curious. I think that people
okay, in the live chat, Mother of Cats has a great point too. I think the alcohol storyline might be scripted and Erika is overacting. That could be a possibility. There's always possibilities on Bravo, and especially Housewives.
Well, and from my experience too, you have those people who are like, I'm lit and I'm so drunk. And I do kind of get annoyed with people who like do that, who are like, I'm so drunk. It's like, but then I feel like there are other people where if you're kind of
like me on the 4th of July,
if you're drunk, you sometimes you just like sit there and somebody's having a conversation with you and you just sway a little bit and you're like, yeah,
which one are you?
Yeah, you're like, but I don't think that you're really announcing that you're lit. So Mother of Cats, this could be true too, because we always hear Erika saying, like, another one, please. And I'm so lit. And it's like, oh, okay, what are we doing? I don't know. All right, guys, 700 in the room. Smash that like button. Show some love. Jason, where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here?
We
covered Beverly Hills. Should we move on to Dubai?
I mean, I have a lot to talk about with Dubai.
Same.
Okay, guys, we're going to talk about some Real Housewives of Dubai because last night's episode was a little messy. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but
In the best way.
Caroline Brooks, okay, she had a moment. Lisa Milan and Caroline Stanberry had a moment. These two always have a moment. And I want to, before we jump into that, I just want to appreciate this woman right here on the left, Chanel Ayan, for always coming with the fashions. I don't know. She just doesn't, she's
just with the fashions, with the fun quotes, with the even her
she's
looking
so
up
funny.
looking at Big Bird. I
Yeah.
mean, just the comments that she makes. This is the personality we need, right? I mean, she provides a little bit of drama. She has this over, I don't know what the right word is, like this over the top personality. She's fun. She's also kind. She has an incredible background. I mean, they hit Housewives gold, no pun intended, for Dubai with Chanel Ayan.
They really did. I really love watching her and seeing even, in this episode where Nina Ali is going through it because her dad's sick and he's so far away. When she was sitting there, at first she was like about to go in and rip Nina apart a little bit. And then Nina started breaking down and mentioned her father. And Chanel immediately stepped back and she's like, we're filming a show. This is all BS. But what's more important and what's most important is family. And she dropped her guard. And so we haven't seen that. You remember on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills where the women came over to the Vanderpump Dog Foundation, the store, and Lisa was like upset and she was crying and she's like, I just lost my brother. I just lost my mom. And Kyle looked at her and said, we all have problems going on. It's like, that's the difference here. And you can totally feel the family values in Dubai. I mean, some of them, but then sometimes some points you don't. Some points it's a little awkward, and we're going to get into that. Which cast member do you want to start on? Before we do, TT Doll, in my opinion, didn't Erika Jayne just tell Jax to walk away? Did she use the wrong word? 100%. But drunk people shouldn't be around kids, and more precisely, kids should not be at a place that serves alcohol. Ebony Dick says, who has a better style team, Chanel or Erika Jayne? Chanel.
Yeah, Chanel. Yeah.
Thank you for the
probably
super
pays less for it too.
Yeah, she probably pays. Yeah, well, as we've seen on the show, they give her stuff too because she's a model. Erika wasn't a model.
Exactly. No.
So which cast member do you want to start on? Because I feel like they all have something.
Oh my goodness gracious. Let's save Caroline Brooks for the end.
Okay. Let's start with Sarah Al-Madani. I think that Sarah Al-Madani is absolutely stunning. And she invited Chanel to an event because what was it? An event to make
the global citizen event. It's pretty much an event for everyone to come together and say that we're one world. Everyone is a human being. Everyone trying to get rid of poverty, so people do not have to live in poverty. Yeah,
and be kind to each other. So there was a pledge, and I thought it was funny where Sarah was talking to Chanel Ayan, and she's like, "Listen, therapy's good. Therapy's a great thing. Even hypnotherapy, I swear by it. And if you start doing this, these different therapies, you can be like me." And I think that how the audience, because I was reading on Twitter where people were ripping her apart for that. I think what she meant, and I totally understood it in the moment, and I can see how people could have, misinterpreted this. When she said you could be like me, I think she meant not like a successful woman, a doctor, a this, or that. I think she meant like at peace.
Yeah, you can put those things that are bothering you, like Chanel was talking about her relationship with her father, right? So I think what she means to, and this is what I took from it. Of course, it was made to look differently, right? But I took you can be like me. You can be free of those thoughts that kind of put you in that jail cell, and mentally. And that's where I think she was going with that. I don't think she was being too preachy, but I could also see Chanel doesn't like to be told like how or what to do, and I'm like that. So I would maybe react similarly here. And so I don't know. There's no right. There's no right here.
And I also think it's different cultures too, right? Like, for example, when Sutton called Diana a motherfucker, she's like, where I come from, that's like saying I F my mother. Like, what? She's like, I don't do that. That's weird to me. But that's not what Sutton meant, And I think for Sarah Al-Madani, she's trying to tell Chanel, like, you can be at peace with some of these feelings because Chanel she's expressed that she had some abandonment issues, you know, growing up and her father leaving. And her story, she's so open and vulnerable with it that I really appreciate Chanel on the show. And I could see what Sarah was trying to do. I was dead though when she was like, you know, my therapist told me to have some plants, and she's like, water your garden. She's like, I don't have a fucking garden. I live in an apartment. So I have 3 fake plants in my house, and I go around, and she's like, you fake water them? And she said, yes. And I thought she was literally going to be fake watering them. She's walking around with like a little bowl full of water, and she's like, this is for
just giving us the moments. Like, I laughed so hard at Chanel. Everything, you know, she just brings like light. I really love, I really enjoyed watching the episodes last night, both franchises, but especially Dubai. I feel like they have caught up. I don't know what that week off was about, if they needed to go back and work on some editing or like,
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did too, because you can almost tell like it hit off more interesting. I don't know.
You know, I want to bring this up too. Tiff XYZ2 said Chanel's face when Sarah said that. I think what I like a lot about Chanel too is she doesn't have a poker face. Like when she reacts, her face just changes. And I feel like I'm the exact same way. Like I don't know. I just really like Chanel. I feel like this is a Chanel appreciation video, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Andy was right. You got me with her. Okay. So going back into it, Sarah Al-Madani, we're going to come back when we talk about the Caroline Brooks situation, but Caroline Brooks brought in 2 of her friends from Boston. Now, I thought this scene was interesting because she touched on what it's like or how accepting they are of gay people in Dubai, because her 2 friends from Boston who were brothers, is it Brian and Adam?
Yes.
Brian and Adam, they're brothers. And she said, these are my good friends. They're gay, they're brothers. And bringing them over, they were really concerned and kind of scared to come over to Dubai because they're gay. Then, of course, you have all of the women talking about homophobia in Dubai, and you see Chanel Ayan, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. 90% of my friends are queer. And I was like, okay. And then you see Caroline Stanberry, and she said something that she mentioned to me in our interview like 2 years ago. She's like, listen, I don't think it's that they're not totally unaccepting of gay men or women in Dubai. It's just you can't walk around Dubai. It's not New York City and hold hands and make out with each other.
I mean, but this goes for straight people as well.
Straight people.
There's no like real like PDA or whatever. But as Chanel said, they're always moving forward. It's 2022, and I feel like the concerns, and maybe that's also why they kind of took an editing break. Or if I'm just being, you know, got my words today. I'm just saying they're addressing, I think, a lot of the concerns people had going into the show. And it's interesting to hear their perspective, the Housewives, on these certain situations. Like, we got to see what the old Dubai was, the new Dubai, which I think still is a little shaky. And then also kind of the current situation of being gay in Dubai and what that is like.
No, I mean,
I'm glad they're talking about it from their perspective, though, because I think we wanted them to talk about things that are happening in the place that they live.
Well, and that's another thing too, is these were a lot of issues that people had. Do you remember I was doing a live one time on here, and I think we had an entire panel, and the panel was totally divided of some people who were like, I'm so excited to see the opulent lifestyles. And then some people were like, I am not watching this franchise because I'm against everything that Dubai stands for. And I sat there and I said on the panel, I was like, I'm watching because I want to understand what everyone's talking about. And maybe even by watching and other people in the world watching, from what we're hearing, Dubai is a very progressive, city, right? So
it's the most Dubai and the United Arab Emirates in that region of the world is the most progressive area. So let's say that I can't talk too much about it because I don't know. I've been to Dubai, I've been to the Middle East, I've been to Beirut and stuff. As you know, being gay, I had a different experience. I had a good experience. So, but that's me. But maybe other people in that region, this is kind of the place to come to have any kind of, freedom.
Right. And to also be fair, I think that the friends from Boston, who it seemed like, Caroline was having her little like beach inspired pool party. Sergio, of course, is the only person getting in the pool, but she's having her beach inspired pool party, and she has her friends, and she's talking about what they were afraid of. Really, it sounded like they needed to be afraid of her, because the moment that we end off the episode, and we'll get to it in a minute, but it was intense.
It was intense.
Yes. Before we get into that, I do want to say Caroline Stanberry and Lisa Milan, if you're not watching and you missed last night's episode, they're finally able to put this feud to bed. Caroline admitted, she's like, I think I had too much to drink. I didn't have a lot of food. So you know what? I was probably clumsy with my words. And for that, I apologize. Lisa also came back and said, I don't sit there and hold on to a grudge. It's not healthy. I don't want to. So, okay, I accept your apology. Can we just put it in the past, let bygones be bygones, and move forward? And Nina Ali was just like, damn, man. I brought you guys
see how long that lasts.
Huh?
We'll see how long that one lasts.
Oh, it won't. It won't last for sure. So Caroline Stanberry is getting ready to get married in 7 days to Sergio. We learned an interesting little tidbit here. We know that there's a 20-year age gap. We know that they have a lot of fun, that she's an ambassador for all of these different, luxurious companies and hotels and yada, yada. We have all those. We got those facts. What I didn't know is, why were we so concerned about bringing the families together? I felt like there was more to it than just, my parents are a little bit more conservative. They sent me off to boarding school, and his parents are like lovey-dovey, whatever. I was shocked when we found out that Sergio's dad offered him money to break up with Caroline. And Sergio's mom was like, I don't approve of this relationship. Shocked. And then when Caroline came back and she's like, listen, if I have Sergio for like 5-10 years, like I'm raising him for you, okay? And then he'll still have a life after. He's only like 27, 28. Just, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. She's like, you're welcome. I'm like, this is so fucked up. I don't know where to go.
Listen, a lot of people are skeptical about the age difference and their relationship in general. I mean, like Caroline has been called everything, under the moon about dating someone far from their age. And listen, you and I have a 10-year age gap. It works. Things like Caroline's dad said, if it works, it works, and Caroline's dad shared this
13 days. Sorry.
Well, there you go. Okay. Still. But, you interviewed Caroline Stanberry 2 years ago. And before that, she was in a relationship with Sergio for a year. And she decided to be in a relationship with him for a year before she told anybody about their relationship. This is also 2 years prior to Dubai even being announced. So I think something's working.
Yeah.
You know?
He's funny and he's loving and he's like, I just want my tiki tiki. You know what I'm saying? We watched this. That's what he kept saying the whole time. She's like, we wake up in the morning. I want my tiki tiki. We go to lunch. I want my tiki tiki. We go to bed. I want my tiki.
Lots of tiki.
Lots of tiki going on. Now, we've covered Caroline. We know that Nina Ali is dealing with her dad's health, which is really sad. And of course, like that breaks, I'm sure that strikes a chord for a lot of people after the, going through a pandemic and losing a lot of people. It's just a really awful time. And I don't want to kind of make this a depressing conversation. But we also touched on Chanel Ayan. She's hilarious. Watching her in all her fashions, I think it's great. I want to talk a little bit about Caroline Brooks before we start bringing up callers. I see Joe Mendoza. Dear Dana, we haven't had Dana up in a while. We got to bring up Dana.
Yeah.
Eva, Krista Marie. All right. So before we bring them up, Caroline Brooks. Now, there was a scene here 3 times in this episode. Jason missed the very beginning. We opened up this episode with furniture shopping with Chanel Ayan. Now, Caroline was talking about her relationship with Chanel. She's like, we fight in the morning, we have dinner at night, and we make up. She's like, we hate each other, then we love each other. But she's like, we're sisters. It'll always be that way. It's just how our relationship goes. Okay.
Right.
I'm more focused on the relationship with her and her son. I'm not a parent, so I don't ever want to comment on anyone's parenting. But watching her with her son at the very beginning of the episode was very different from the very end of this episode. In the beginning, you see where she's like, I love you. Like, her son's name is Adam. Great name choice. She's like, I love you, baby. Like, go pick out some furniture that you're happy with. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. And then we get to the pool party and she's talking to Caroline Stanberry about sending her son to boarding school. Caroline said, how does your son feel about it? And she said, well, he doesn't know yet. And Caroline's like, I think that you should mentally prepare him for that. And then I like how in the confessional, she's like, I think people with new money, they think, oh, let's send them to the best schools. Let's send them to boarding school. And they have a different idea. And they don't really know, if they haven't been to boarding school, what that's actually like. I personally would have looked at Caroline Stanberry. You see that she is not that emotional of a person. She's very standoffish. She doesn't have time, right? And she equates all of this and says, this is because I was in boarding school from the time that I was 6 to 18. And since I was, She's like, I had to learn how to survive. I don't really have a great relationship with my parents. It just is what it is. She's like, you're emotional.
I mean, she's dealing with that stuff, and then moving forward, Caroline Brooks does invite, her friends and Sarah Al-Madani over to her house. And Sarah shares similar concerns. I mean, what Sarah was saying to Caroline Brooks at her house about sending your kid away and stuff like that, they get like and I can't speak on this too much, but it's like you're like pushing them away. And this is everything Caroline has been talking about for so long, and she's experienced it. So to hear Caroline Stanberry's opinion on boarding school, to listen to Sarah kind of talk to Caroline about this, I thought it was interesting. And I feel like maybe Caroline Brooks has something in her head about what it's going to teach her son, how he's going to be educated. And by going to boarding school, he's going to be the best at everything. And that's not necessarily true. And then we fast forward to a moment where I feel like, in my opinion, we saw the real Caroline Brooks when she lost it on her best friend, when she was going back at Sarah Al-Madani, but when she was saying, my son will not sit here in front of me and cut chicken like this and do that in front of me. But then you want him to learn the manners and the best ways, but then you're sitting there yelling at your guests in your home at the table.
Yeah, well,
it kind of just, the hypocrisy was real there.
But I think they struck a chord because she in her mind, she's like, I'm a single mother. I'm sure there's support, or I don't know, but maybe there's support from his dad. I'm not quite sure. But she's like, I'm a single mother. I don't want to be preached to about how to parent. Sarah did approach this conversation with caution, though, and she said, I don't want to offend you. She's like, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to intrude. And she explained, most of my friends, when it comes to, first of all, when Caroline Brooks was talking to Caroline Stanberry and Caroline expressed her concerns from a place of growing up in boarding school, I would have seen that as a red flag to begin with. I would have been like, oh, I'm not sending my kid away. And Caroline Brooks is just like, oh, he'll get used to it. It's whatever. And
well, like Larja Curve said, that's the word I was looking for, was abandonment issues. And abandonment I can understand that, especially if you haven't had the conversation with your son and you're going to send him away when he's 11, Well,
and then you have her housekeeper, Sarah, who calls her Madame. And Sarah seems to be like sort of a co-pilot, second parent for Adam, helping him. Like, she's like, baby, do you want me to cut your chicken for you? She's like, Sarah, can you cut his chicken?
I think they're, Caroline Brooks might have rubbed me just the wrong way this episode. And of course it's an edit. We don't get to see everything.
Right.
When you come into her house, there's only photos of her. She's worried about how things are presented at her place. But I think her friends brought good points. Like even Sarah, like when you're a grandmother, you're not going to care about this stuff about your kid. You're just going to want to spend time with them. And who cares how he held his fork or what he did with his knife. But Caroline, it's almost like she's putting on a facade. And that's kind of what I got from her this episode, is like, your ego's out of control with all the photos of you around the house. You're putting on this facade that you are, this sort of person. And I don't know. She rubbed me the wrong way.
I mean, the way that she was able to flip on her friends like that too, when that was listen, every person has or most of the housewives, they all have like a cringy moment here or there. But in that moment, she was just getting upset and saying, don't talk to me about my parenting. And Sarah was like, I don't think you need to talk to your friends like that. What I'm saying is you should walk him upstairs. You should tuck him in. You should be there more for him. It's not going to matter 10 years from now about how he cuts the chicken. What's going to matter is, are the values that you instill in him. And like you said, it's kind of there's a little hypocrisy there with, we're so focused on teaching him manners and how to cut his chicken, but then we're exploding on our friends at the table who came in from Dubai, who were afraid to come into, to Dubai because they're gay. And really, at the end of the day, the thing that they should have been afraid of the most would be sitting at the table with Caroline Brooks. So this is just, I think we should take up some callers.
Interesting. I do too. I do want to share just a couple things about Dubai that I have heard.
Okay. 700 in the room, guys. Smash that like button. Let Jason go. Here we
go. Just a couple of things, and I'm not, because I do still want to talk to a couple of people who have been giving me some information, but I know someone is on the chopping block, and I know we will have a couple more housewives, and I know there will be another season.
That's all I'm going to say. Who's on the chopping block.
I cannot tell you who's on the chopping block.
Why?
Because I can't say that.
Then why
I don't want to? Because someone in the cast is on the chopping block. I'm sure you can guess who.
Okay, it's probably the one that they're calling the most boring. Okay, keep going.
That's it. That's all I'm going to share.
Why?
Because that's all I have.
Didn't you also hear that we're getting a rumored friend of?
Oh, yes. So yes, I did hear that. We've heard actually that from a couple of people, but someone more recent told me that, and I think Phaedra is searching for a house in Dubai. So
Phaedra might be a friend of the show, and that would make sense where she could pop in, pop out, film, do scenes. Like, because I know, for example, like Jen, I mean, I can give this a little bit of tidbit. Like Jen Shaw from Salt Lake City Housewives, before she had to go to New York City, she had to film a bunch of extra scenes for Bravo to get all of those pickup shots. And she had to have different outfits. And it's like, we're going to see it on the show as if it's over the span of a week. But really, she was told to have X amount of outfits for the same day and then just put in different scenarios. That way they could have all of that and piece it together like she was never not there. So I feel like for Phaedra, they can do the same thing. Like, all right, Phaedra, we're going to bring you on. We're going to give you an extra paycheck. We'll pay you as a friend. We need you for 2 weeks of filming. We need you to bring 20 different outfits, and then we'll have pickup.
But also, like, let's see if it's going to work out. You know what I mean? Like, and, you know, just like let's see how you adapt. And maybe that's kind of her transitions, like moving over to Dubai. And then maybe we might see her on a future season as a full-time housewife, or maybe she doesn't have that to offer that franchise. I do have to say, after watching Ultimate Girls Trip, Phaedra's, I kind of miss her a little bit. So I don't think it would be a bad choice.
Okay. All right. Well, should we bring up some callers?
Bring up some callers. All
right. I'm going to start in order, and I'm going to bring up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'm going to bring up 2 at a time, and then we'll just keep it a little bit shorter and get their opinions on Beverly Hills and Dubai. And then that way we can rotate them. So first, let's welcome dear Dana and Nikki G.
Oh.
Hi, Dana. Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Dana.
Hey.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. Dana, it's been so long. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It has been so long. I missed you guys.
Oh, well, welcome. We miss you. Welcome back. And then, of course, Ebony Dix, I see you down there popping in and out, and I know you're going to come in like a tornado, and you're going to drop a bomb, and then you're going to exit. I'll bring you up in between. I promise. But all right. So, Nikki, I saw that you were in the room first. Where did you want to begin? Was it Dubai or Beverly Hills?
Well, I haven't actually started watching Dubai because I like to binge things.
Okay.
But I actually just came back from Dubai with my husband a few weeks ago. It was amazing. It made me, listen, I felt like I was accomplished. And then I went to Dubai and I was like, I clearly need to do more with my life. But it inspired me nonetheless. So I have a few things that I want to say. Okay. Regarding Garcelle and what she's saying about Erika, she's probably right. Let's just start there. But I think that it's problematic to say things like someone is an alcoholic or might be addicted to drugs, mainly because it's on a worldwide stage. And we all know that once you put something out there, people don't care if it's true or not. They will just look at it and they will run with it and they will make conspiracy theories and whatnot. Although, like I said, she probably is right. I just think it's kind of reckless and irresponsible to say that on, publicly. I feel like say that behind closed doors to Erika if you really are truly concerned. The second thing I wanted to say is about Sutton. Now, I love me some Sutton. However, I feel like she's so naive. Like Sutton believes that people are like her, and that's very problematic, especially in the entertainment business or industry, which is super savage. So one day they can love you, hold you up, and they can't wait to tear you down the next day. But she wholeheartedly believes Kyle is a friend. She really, I think, believes Erika at some point. Erika at some point can reconcile with her. She thinks that she's leaving things good with her. She's just oblivious, in my opinion, to what's actually going on. So I feel like she's very naive regarding that. There's two other points I want to make real quick. Regarding the idiots, in my opinion, who are harassing Portia or Kyle's daughter on the internet, I never think that it's okay to harass people's children or anyone really.
Yeah. Right.
I don't like it at all. However, I do think that the idiots that are harassing her I think they're coming from the perspective of, I want Kyle and Kyle's husband to understand what people of color and their children have to go through, just to get that perspective of your daughter is experiencing this for a week or two. Our children have to worry about this their entire life. And I think that's more of what they're getting at, but they're just doing it the wrong way. It's like, don't go and harass her. If you're going to harass somebody, harass Kyle. But I just feel like that's more of the sentiment than just wanting to harass a child. That's personally how I feel. And then if I could just make one quick statement about Tamara, because you guys were talking about Tamara and Teddy the other day, and I was just kind of like, I think it's really rich that Teddy's like, oh, Garcelle always defends Sutton, when every season that she was on with Kyle, Teddy, they defended each other 100% of the time. So it's just
Right.
like, girl, bye.
Absolutely.
So I'm just like, you're such a hypocrite. And then
That's
Tamara
true.
talking about Sutton is so aggressive. I'm just like, that's also rich, because every reunion Tamara was on, she was yelling at people and screaming
That's
at
my
them.
opinion.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, I want you to have a few seats and just never get up, Tamara. I just think it's just like, girl, stop it. But I feel like I personally feel like what's her name? Teddy is just jealous and wishes she was probably still on the show.
Exactly.
And so that's why she feels that kind of way. But last thought is, I just say, imagine if Garcelle was grabbing Sutton the way I said this last night on Twitter, the way Kyle was
did.
grabbing Sutton, and we would have all of the A words that would apply to her behavior immediately. It would be, she's argumentative, she's aggressive, she's angry, she's, she's assaulting her. And I'm just saying, it's food for thought. If the roles were reversed, there would be a million A words that they would throw at Garcelle if she was doing that. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for allowing me to come on here.
All right. Thanks, Nikki
Love it,
G.
Nikki.
We appreciate you.
Mhm.
All right.
I agree.
I mean, she just went through it. Like, she almost just gave us an Ebony Dix of like point.
PowerPoints.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
I was watching it the other day, and I was like, when Kyle grabbed Sutton, and I was like, hey girl, hey, what are you doing? That is like kind of assault.
I
I mean, where do you get it in you? Like, where do you feel it is okay? Like, where is there no like?
It's not okay.
Thought in the head before you like grab someone that like kind of almost shows your nature in a sense.
It was not. That was when I saw that, I was like, that is absolutely not okay.
I don't think that I've ever done that with a friend. Like, I know brothers and sisters will do that sometimes, like we've gone through that, but I've never sat there and like disagreed with a friend and like grabbed onto them and been like, listen to me. Like,
she shouldn't have usurped herself, period.
Right.
She should have just stood back, let them done their thing, and just, girl, walk away. I didn't like it. It felt very uncomfortable. That felt very uncomfortable to me. So what?
Oh, I was going to say, are you also, when you're talking about like how Kyle's behavior was with Sutton, I'm curious when it comes to Kyle and Garcelle's difference of opinions on Erika and her drinking and her mixing of the pills. Where do you stand with that? Do you feel like you're more leaning in Garcelle's favor, or do you think that Kyle's right? Like, it's very dangerous to label someone.
It is dangerous to label someone unless you have a track record of seeing that behavior. I mean,
right.
the person has to admit they have a problem first and foremost.
Right.
But if you've been around them and consistently seen that behavior and you're concerned that they do have a problem, that is one thing. Maybe she shouldn't have said it on a public stage. But I think the Erika that you're seeing now is the true Erika.
I mean,
she has nothing to lose. I mean, before you saw a very stoic, staunch, black and white kind of Erika, previous to all of this going down.
Yeah.
This is the real Erika you're seeing.
And I think that, to your point, it either is or it's not. It's either this is the real Erika or this is a facade, like people are alluding to, in order to keep us talking about her and like mixing of cocktails and pills, because she's the one who's throwing that out there. Normally somebody would try to hide that factor, but either she's this person actually, or she's trying to get us to not talk about what's going on with Tom Girardi and her legal cases. I don't know which one, because these women are so smart.
She may be laying it on a little thicker, but this is the real Erika. Look, she was verbally assaulting a 14-year-old. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is not okay in any way, shape, or form.
No, I agree. I'll only verbally assault a 39-year-old, which is Jason. So I get it.
And then she's lifting her leg when generally we know she doesn't wear underwear. Okay. In my opinion, they still have money hidden somewhere.
Did you catch the part? Wait, for everybody watching, did you catch the part where she was talking about, listen, these are materialistic things. They don't matter to me anymore. I've had that life. I'm not jealous. Bravo Shady Editing. She's like, bitch, I'm so jealous. Look at these clothes. And then she's like, I'm not broke. And it's like it clicked in her head and she's like, broke. And I'm like,
I mean, you heard me back when say that the break-in was a setup of friends of friends.
well, listen, I mean,
I stand by that. And I 150% in my gut, I'll be willing to wager there's still money hidden in other places. He wasn't dumb. So she still got money somewhere.
well, I mean, let's see.
She's not going to fess up.
I'm curious when Ronald Richards is going to leak the rest of that audio clip, or if he will leak the rest of the audio clip with Tom Girardi and what was said in it. But again, Tom, I think, I don't know. I don't want to say Tom knows what he's talking about because they medically diagnosed him with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
And also the photos of him look like he's really deteriorated throughout this whole process.
But I mean, that's a lot of stress. So allegedly,
yes.
I believe there's money hidden somewhere. Allegedly.
Zach actually just called just texted me and he was like, because he said he posted earlier on Instagram and he said, you're not important enough to use the word allegedly, so stop. And I commented on it and I said, I always use allegedly. And he's like, bitch, people are going to start thinking that we're feuding. And I was like, oh, sorry. Sorry, we're not feuding, guys.
As far as the Dubai thing, I have not watched the show, but I can say something about boarding school.
Okay.
My niece and nephew on my husband's side went to boarding school. His brother went to boarding school. My husband grew up in Denmark and came to find his birth family. His stepmother was pushing hard, beyond hard, for me to send my daughter to boarding school. And I refused because I love my niece and nephew by marriage. But what I did notice, they were put in the minute they went through puberty. No joke. And they finished their entire straight into college.
Yeah.
So they didn't get raised from the time they went to puberty. Their parents, they would visit on holidays and maybe the occasional once in a blue drop in.
Yeah.
Because they lived in a whole entire different place. They learned a lot. They became extremely independent the minute they got out of college. He went to Alaska to, I forgot what it's called when they get on the boats and travel the seas to make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
And she went to Greece.
I mean,
so they were very independent. They went and had other lives, but little contact with their parents.
Yeah, and I could see where that would be. I could see where like larger curves mentioned that could bring up abandonment issues. I mean, yeah, I 100%. I get it.
I, for a long time, I was told I couldn't have kids. And my feeling was I did not have children for somebody else to raise them.
Right.
I wanted to have an impact on my child's life, watch them go through puberty and, dating and, all the things they go through. I wanted to be there for them. I wanted that relationship.
Right.
So it's, if you want them to travel the world and have the world, that can be a beautiful thing. But I needed that family and that relationship and wanted them to have that.
No, that makes sense.
So I understand exactly what Caroline and the other lady are saying.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't have a kid to really necessarily put them in boarding school. So listen, I get it, Dana. We appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and bring up some more callers too, just so we can rotate the room. I see Ebony Dix, Norma, Joe Mendoza, Krista Marie Miller, Larja Curbs, Mike. Happy birthday, Mike. And Kendrick. Dana, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
Bye, Dana.
Bye, Jason.
Where the hell are you, Jason?
I'm working out. I'm trying to move something around on my camera. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. Over 700 people in the room. Smash that like button. Let's play a round of Tornado because here she comes. Hi, Ebony.
Hi.
Hi, Ebony.
How are you guys? I just want to say, okay, I loved your members only live. It was pure. It was so genuine. So I just want to say, if anyone's interested in hearing more of your personal thoughts, that is actually a place to go, because that members live, the last one I clicked on, I had to go for the replay because my schedule's wacky. But anyway, I just thought you were just so great at explaining concerns out there. So that was really
thank
great.
you.
So congratulations.
Well, that was
and
Ebony, you always keep it honest, so we appreciate that. Going into it, it's not something like on here when we talk about Bravo and stuff. We're navigating with NBC and press and trying to make sure that we can still get interviews, and it's not like we can't just sit there and go on tangents. But like for the members only, I wanted to keep that more personal to Jason.
And it was an hour-long greatness. It wasn't like 30 minutes. It was like an hour long of like constant information, just constant where you're at, where you see things at. So sometimes you have to cut yourself off with what's going on. But anyway, so let me move on, because I just want to say this. I want to be on Dana's side for a little bit. I don't like Dana, but I'm telling you, for a newbie to come in, for us to constantly talk about her like this. I mean, take the book.
You mean
away.
Diana,
sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking, dear Dana, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
Dana, we love Dana.
I apologize. I'm sorry. Diana, she's keeping us in her mouth. She's, for a newbie, wow, she has made a big splash for us not to like her, for us to talk about her, where there's other newbies. I mean, look at Crystal. We don't even talk about her. This is her second season.
I mean, that's a great point.
2 words about her. So I don't like Diana. I do like the fact that she is working with carrying this show on her back, as we say. So anyway, have a great one, guys. I'll see you soon. Okay.
Hi, Ebony. Thanks,
you, Ebony.
I didn't even have to drop her down. That's what I mean. She comes with the tornado. She's just like, here's my opinion. Gotta go. Bye. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and bring up some more callers. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a bigger panel, as long as, well, I just want to say this really quick too. We did a live the other day, and we had a disagreement on opinions, and that's okay. We don't always have to agree on opinions, but I think the most important thing here is this is a space for us to share that we have different opinions, and let's just try to respect that everyone has a different opinion without screaming or shouting, because it makes it, 1, unpleasant, and 2, unpleasant for the viewers and audience to listen. It hurts, we all have different freaking speakers coming through our laptops, phones, whatever. You get the point. So let's just be respectful. Thanks, Jason. God, you were on a tangent.
Yeah.
All right.
I was like, when is this going to end?
All right. Let's welcome up. I'm going to go in order really quick. Let's welcome Larger Curves.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday.
You. With the mention of Dana, I've got my $25,000 gossip.
Oh, well, we got this from Dana Wilkie if she didn't pawn those already, because I would have. All right.
And also, guys, happy National Nude Day today.
Nude?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Is this for real, Joe, or is this one of
It is. July 14th is National Nude Day. That's why I'm celebrating it.
I am putting that in my calendar, Joe.
Joe Mendoza is kind of like a wealth of the weirdest shit, like the weirdest knowledge that comes out of Joe, and it's the funniest. Like, it's so, I don't know where you pull this out of, but I'll take it.
Well, you can have an idea. No, but also if you're not into National Nude Day, it's also Happy National Tape Measure Day and Happy National Mac and Cheese Day. So you could pick one of them or all of them.
You could use those all together, really.
Or you could eat your macaroni and cheese in the nude.
Yep, while using the tape measure for somebody nude.
Yep. Okay. All right. We're going to... Thanks, Joe Mendoza. Thank you for being an encyclopedia of weird things again. Again, happy birthday to Mike, Dirty 30. I'm going to start down here at the bottom with Kendrick. Kendrick, am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are.
There's a little bit of an echo, and I don't know who. Joe, I think it's coming from you, wealth of knowledge over there. But I'm going to start with you, Kendrick, and then I'm going to go around and hit everybody on what they want to cover out of all of this Beverly Hills Dubai madness. Hi, Kendrick.
Hi. Yeah, it's been a bit, but Yeah. So when it comes to Beverly Hills, for me, I just um, I was happy that Garcelle had the conversation with Erika for sure
I agree with
because
that.
it was definitely needed. And for me, what rubbed me the wrong way was Kyle trying to justify the Erica's drunkenness and behavior in the conversation. And I was happy that Garcelle checked it right away because she noticed that she's trying to justify and defend the behavior. It's like, good girl,
Mm.
like no one's talking to you. Like just sit there and be quiet and be mute. And I was happy that Sheree checked her as well because it's just like just sit there and just be neutral. That's all
That's
you
why
have.
that's why I think, like I was saying to Jason, I think she has Housewives brain at this point. I think it's just like for her, she thinks interjecting and everything is just a part of the job, and it's how she can justify her bonuses for the next season. Like, I don't think that there's a real comprehension of this has nothing to do with you.
Right. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that because it's like it has nothing to do with you. Like I understand that's your friend and everything, but it's like, look, Erica's a big girl. She can defend herself. She don't need anybody to back her up anyway. You've seen that since she's been on the show. So why in the world now that you want to defend her because she's going through a mess? Like, come on now. Like you're
Right.
the main one out of everybody that will, if anybody's in a funk and in mess, you're the main one that will call anybody out about that stuff anyway. So now all of a sudden you want to do this reverse after you've been getting this backlash. So now all of a sudden you want to do the reverse. So make it make sense, sis.
Make it make sense. All right. I'm curious too. Let's see. Larger Curbs. I can't unmute you. You have to unmute yourself.
Oh, hey, yeah. Hey, yeah.
Hey, I'm curious
Okay.
what you think about this.
Okay. So I feel like Garcelle was brilliant for calling out Erika's drunken behavior. I mean, think about it. So we've had this done. This is like a classic, you guys. Kyle did it to Kim. Brandy did it to Kim. Kim did it to Sassoon Girl, didn't she? Sassoon Girl did it to Lisa. Everybody called out Lisa's pills. Nobody told none of them hoes that, oh, this is damaging. And as soon as Garcelle does what they do, oh, we got to go talk to her. This is so damaging if you say this.
I think the only person they stuck up for like this too, when they said it was damaging, was I think it was Kyle or Kim Richards when it was the near-death comment. But that wasn't an alcohol comment. That was a near-death comment, which was totally inappropriate.
Yes, exactly. And then we didn't even see the extent of those other people that I mentioned. We didn't even see their greasy elbowism. We just kind of heard about it. We're watching Erika toss them back and admit she's taking drugs with it, whether they're prescribed by a physician or not. She's admitting this and showing us this. So if nobody calls it out but Garcelle, and then they tell Garcelle she's wrong, that's gaslighting, y'all.
Wait, wouldn't her, if her doctor's watching this, doesn't her doctor have to stop prescribing her, knowing that she's mixing the medication with the alcohol in an inappropriate way, like a dangerous way?
Yeah, that sounds like a call to the people needs to happen, because
would that be a malpractice?
She's admitting it, you guys. You know how hard it is to go to the place and get some pain pills if you're a regular person or any kind of medication. And here she is on national television admitting that she's mixing these two substances. That's ridiculous. I'm so glad Garcelle brought it up. And it was the wrong messenger for Kyle to be the one. Yes, you're right. What is she only getting paid for inserting herself and stirring the pot because she doesn't have a storyline? And then when all the people did it, it wasn't damaging, like I said. And why does Garcelle have to defend herself against Kyle and Erika when it's just wrong? It's totally wrong. I agree with Nikki G that the Portia situation, while it's a little disturbing, it is a way to teach compassion and empathy to those who would otherwise not feel it. So as soon as you feel it, then maybe you will be a lot slower to laugh at another person's kid getting treated that way. So yeah, it's bad, but yes, it's good. It's like weird. And then what else was I thought that
Are you flipping page? Did you take notes?
Yes. I was sitting back here. And then Ebony is right too. Crystal who? Where? Where's Crystal doing? What's she doing, y'all? And then Dorit's producer should be reassigned, y'all, because this robbery storyline is the beatenest, deadest horse of I've ever. This stinks. The carcass is done. Please move on. And not to mention that most of the world thinks it was fake and planned. I mean, you're really trying to make us care about something that we are not going to care about. It's over. Move on. That's who Kyle should be talking to about, it's not a good look. That's who she should go to next. If she's making rounds about inserting herself, she needs to go to Erika and insert herself. Stop telling everybody you mixing these substances. She needs to go to Crystal and insert herself and be like, you know what, girl, you need to pep up because you look like wallpaper over here. She needs to go to Dorito and she needs to say, girl, you need another storyline. And can you get PK to get in the closet somewhere because he's not part of the play. He's not. You need to come up with something on your own, Dorito. And then she needs to go to Sutton and tell Sutton that it's okay to be not okay. You don't have to go try to make everything. Sometimes you just need to rest and simmer in your anger and rage so you can decide if you even want that person in your space anymore. You don't need to go make nice with the devil if you don't feel like it. Move on. And
the next time we fight, I'm going to say, I need you to let me simmer in my rage.
Yes. And then Kyle should look in the mirror and talk to herself and ask herself why she been on the show for so long. And we're not seeing nothing about her life. We're not seeing nothing. All she does is insert and stir. We need to have these serious talks, you guys. That's it.
Okay. All right. Let's see what the birthday boy has to say about this.
I love it.
What's up, guys? Hello, everyone. Thanks for the birthday wishes.
Yay. 30.
30 years old. Yes, 30.
30. And in case you guys were wondering too about this 30, well, you can go ahead because I'm curious what your thoughts are, and then I'll just put you on the spot when it comes up.
Sure. First and foremost, I want to remind everybody that because Garcelle was on The Real, and after the show, she was on The Real with the girls talking about the party, and they were all talking about how Erika was messy, right?
Right.
You could very much tell on the show that Garcelle did not like Erika. It was pretty evident from her comments on the show.
Right.
I do think that for us to think that Garcelle genuinely cares about Erika's addiction problems or whatever they are, it would be naive. I do think that she's bringing it up on purpose, and she's doing it in a way that it could seem like she cares. But I think she's smarter than we give her. She's smarter than we think, and we got to give her more credit because I do think she kind of meant it like it was just like superior shade. Like, okay, what's really going on here? Is there an addiction problem too? That's kind of how I took it. That's kind of how I saw it. And I really don't care because her kid was attacked, verbally assaulted on national television. So, I mean, to me, that's grounds for bringing up your pill problems too.
Yeah, I mean,
it was my kid, right?
No, yeah. No, I agree with that.
As far as Kyle just throwing herself into everything, Larger Cruz kind of touched on it. She really doesn't have a storyline anymore. So she's forced to insert herself into and to do the splits on national TV to make it seem like she's interesting. I'm starting to grow tired of Kyle Richards and her antics. And it's becoming redundant and it's kind of played out at this point. Like we're needing more, and I think her family, they might be anticipating her exit from the show here soon because they're doing other things and, they are filthy rich. So, they'll be fine either way.
Yeah.
Wait, Mike, I wanted to add something really quick, and this is so off topic. I don't know what the I'm saying. Off topic.
What's up? Yeah.
This is off topic, but I feel like Jason and I are pretty good friends. And we just celebrated your 30th birthday, right? Okay. And for everyone who's watching, I want to show, just like on the Housewives, I wouldn't be a Kyle Richards friend. I would be a Sheree to Garcelle, there to support, there to help, and maybe even there to help you find someone in your life. So I just wanted to bring this up and celebrate your 30th birthday and put it out there in case anybody's watching. We have
so funny.
Celebrating his dirty 30 right here. And we just wanted to make sure if you guys wanted to go slide into the DMs that we were facilitating that for you. That's all, Mike.
Yeah, give Mike some cake.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so messy for that.
Hey,
that is the Lisa Rinna thing to do, I think.
100%.
Oh, no. I'm definitely gonna be going in on Lisa Rinna anyways, because Lisa Rinna posted this. Lisa Rinna is totally on her way out the door. Lisa Rinna went on and kind of bashed production, saying, I shot a lovely breakfast scene with Sutton where she filled me in on what happened at Garcelle's party. It's too bad that they're not airing it so that we can see both sides of the story. I wasn't at Garcelle's party, so I can only go off what I was told, but the stories Diane and Sutton told me were entirely different, like watching two different movies. And I think what's happening here is with her shadiness and her consistency on social media, and then her calling out kind of the edits and production, I feel like Lisa Rinna I think she's getting ready to...
That might be her exit. That might be her way out. Because every time we've seen, like, it's the same happened with Nene Leakes when she put her hands on the cameraman, LVP when she kept protesting production and favoritism and things like that. That's kind of the start of the end. So hopefully it is. Another thing I wanted to make a comment on, I'm not sure if you guys are big on Twitter Spaces, but Caroline Brooks, this is now transitioning to Dubai, but Caroline Brooks is very active on Twitter. And she jumped in a space once and she was kind of listening for like the first half hour or so. And everybody was talking mess about her and her wigs and stuff like that. And then she joined in and now she has her own spaces. And it's so interesting because she says in the space, she's very relatable and she seems very down to earth. And she talks to everybody one by one. And it's actually a pretty cool thing that she does. She even got Chanel Ayan on it. She got Stanberry on it at one point, and you can talk to them, which is so neat. But yeah, in the space, she seems so genuine and so relatable. But even there are times where she's yelling for the assistant or the housekeeper in the space too, and she's like yelling and walking through the house, and it just
that's relatable.
Yeah, it's kind of like. But then on the show, she says in the space that she forgot the cameras were there, you know? So when you make comments like that, and then we see that that's your behavior and you forgot the cameras were there, it's kind of like, is that really you? Is that who you really are then?
Yeah, that's not a good way to defend your behavior, saying I forgot the cameras were there, because really, if you want to pretend like this isn't your normal behavior, you would say, you know, the cameras were there. I was on edge. It's a very awkward setting. And it made me, I think it made my reaction more heightened, as opposed to being like, I forgot the cameras were there, because then you're like, oh shit. Then what would it have been like had the cameras really not been?
Exactly. It's cool because she'll make fun of herself in the space. Like, you know, she'll make fun of her hair and stuff like that, her hair and makeup. But at the same time, it's not adding up. It doesn't match what she's saying in the space. So now I'm kind of like, what the hell? And she also mentioned, they asked her about the whole Lisa Rinna spat, how she went back and forth with them. And she said that at first she did not understand what Lisa meant by the comment, go watch Dubai. But apparently she and Lisa Rinna spoke and they squashed it. And Lisa explained what she meant. She wasn't trying to be shady and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, she tweeted that and all Twitter people started telling her, Lisa's full of it, like you can't fall for it. And she made a comment saying, you know, I don't watch Beverly Hills, so I don't know Lisa Rinna and her behavior. I can only go based off of this instance. But I thought that was interesting too, that they actually, and I tweeted her saying, oh, this has Bravo written all over it to try and clean up the story for Rinna. And she actually tweeted me back and said, no, it wasn't. This was genuine. And we wanted to talk it out and hash it out because we don't want it to be awkward at BravoCon, that kind of thing.
Right.
I thought that was interesting too.
There's a lot of shit happening in the Bravo world. By the way, is anybody, well, I was going to say, is anybody going to BravoCon, but I feel like the prices are so ridiculous that I don't know if a whole lot of people would be going to that.
I wish. I'll be watching a lot of it. But
I'm not going unless they give me a press pass. Otherwise.
I'm hoping for it.
Yeah, if they give a press pass, we'll definitely do like behind the scenes and stuff. But otherwise, I'm not paying for that. Joe Mendoza, to help us cap this off, because we're at an hour and 20 minutes and Jason and I have a meeting at 1:30 EST. What do you have to add to this? Here we go, guys. Get ready. Brace yourselves.
What? I can be, I don't know, like not dirty. Okay, here. So I think I have 2 words for Kyle. I think she's been a conversational narcissist. I think that's a thing. People could probably look that up. Look me up. No, I really think that's a thing. And I don't necessarily think that that's only this season. I think she's been a conversational narcissist for as long as I can remember. And I think it's in an attempt to kind of be like LVP, but LVP was never a conversational narcissist. Like, she drops shade or like little hints of things to kind of get conversations going, but LVP always intends to like shy the conversation away from her, but still stir the pot. Kyle, on the other hand, is a type of person that will be obtrusive and actually try to change the narrative of other people and try to make what she's saying as what really is happening. So like an even grander like level up to like gaslighting, which to me is just really disturbing.
Yeah.
About Erika and the drinking, I think we've also seen it in previous seasons that she's very controlled and calculated. And as much as, I'm not really subscribing to all the hate that, that's been lodged against her, although she's got problematic, behaviors online. I think all she's doing here is just deflection. Like, I think she's trying to show on camera that she's lit, she's got uncontrollable like drinking problems, so people stop talking about like the actual day-to-day things that's happening in her lawsuit, which I have a feeling people are gonna catch on like in the later seasons and start calling her out on her shit, which will be uncomfortable for her and which we'll love watching later on. And I don't know, Caroline Brooks, she came for me on Twitter. Not really a fan of her.
I think we're seeing. I have my own opinion on that.
Yeah. So to me, and her outfit on What Happens Live last night was just atrocious. Like, she should have worn Storm Doris's ensemble. That would have been so much better.
Yeah.
And
you don't like this?
No. Oh God, that's terrible.
Real quick. She had just went live before I came on here with you guys. Carolyn Brooks was on her Instagram live and explained that she did in fact see Storm Doris, but the dress was not approved. They were supposed to show what they were supposed to wear before, and they didn't get Storm's dress approved. And plus, it had some long gloves that somebody had just wore on Watch What Happens Live. But she was sad, but she'll wear it another time.
Yeah, I kind of don't buy that. I think it would have had a. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
No,
I don't.
Yeah,
I think she just. Yeah.
I think the biggest cringy, the cringiest behavior that I could see of Brooks is not really her interactions with the other housewives, but her interactions with the people that are helping her in the house. To me, just the way that she speaks to them and the way that she interacts with them, like, yes, you pay them to help out in the house, but it's almost
cut some chicken for your son. It's okay to cut some chicken for your son.
Yeah,
you can do
chicken.
That.
She did cut the chicken. She also said that scene, had they showed the entirety, would have taken up the entire show, and that she cut the chicken after she said, "Baby, you want mommy to cut your chicken?" She cut it, and then he wanted seconds, and she sent the lady over, and she said the way they edited it.
Shady ass editing.
Hey, they'll do that.
I'm being a flip flopper. I'm jumping ships right now.
But I mean, you couldn't. I just couldn't edit how she reacted to her friend.
Okay, and then she said that's how they always interact. She said that's, why am I echoing? I don't know. She said that's how they always interact, and that he hadn't seen that son in so long, and he had been taking digs the whole night that they didn't show. But she did say that Sarah comment about, go tuck him in, was like after she had only been in her house for 20 minutes, and it was the first time they ever had dinner together, and she was very put off by that. And I think actually Sarah was in the wrong. Shut the F up. Let the lady his maid take the baby up so she can finish entertaining her guests at the dinner table. What the hell was that? What was it?
I just want, actually, Jason's cooking chicken tonight, and I want him to cut my chicken. That's all.
Yeah.
But
well, at least,
no, you're a weirdo.
All right, I gotta drop that for this meeting.
In the nude with macaroni and cheese.
You what,
Ooh,
Jason?
I gotta drop off for this meeting, but
hopefully there's no oil splashing towards it. I know you guys gotta drop.
Bye, Jason.
bye.
All right, Jason's
Bye.
going to go get ready for our meeting. I'm going to go join him. I want to say, Mike, Joe, Kendrick, Larja, we appreciate the heck out of all of you guys. Thank you so much for calling in, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for Hot Messy Topics.
Yeah,
Bye.
anytime.
You guys.
Love you guys.
Excited
Bye,
to be
guys.
on.
Thank you, guys. Oh, and Norma, I promise, I swear next time, you're going to be the first person we start with. We love us some Norma. It was so great to see Dana, Nikki G, Ebony, everybody who joined in the chat. My neck and my back are killing me right now. Also, thank you to everybody in the live chat for the super chats, mods, super stickers. You guys are the best. Thank you. Thank you. What a great conversation. It was fun to do both into one, and we'll see you next time. I'm posting a pre-record right after this within like 3 seconds, technically like 2 minutes. Actually, here, let me just do it while I'm on here. Let me do it while I'm on here. Post. Don't forget to smash that like button, and it is officially posted now. Love you guys. Bye. Go check out the pre-record. Bye.